there.
Bam! First gutter ball, then. So you got 9. Well, might as well knock it down. I know that I got a 9. Hey there, YouTube. So, as you saw earlier, I was bowling with air guns. Now, I just decided to do this because, for one, I had a ton of these spare, well, not spare, but spent CO2 cartridges. You see, it's been spent. I had a ton of them, and I sometimes take them down to the paintball shop and get them recycled. Just give them to the guy. He sends them back to the manufacturer. They recycle them. They just, refill them, restamp them, do whatever they do. But I have so many. And I decided to just do something with them. And I wanted to come up with something that I could not just enjoy myself, but also enjoy it with the family. I could do it by myself, but we can make a game out of this. And we did. Airgun bowling. And how I did this is pretty simple. You're going to say, oh, well, the base of the CO2 cartridges are rounded off, so how can you use those? How can you stand them up? That's how. I took a punch. Well, what you need for this is you need a vise, cardboard to wrap this in. You put this in the vise, well, with the cardboard wrapped around it, so you don't damage this with the vise. And a punch, a steel punch. You don't want to use a brass punch, even though this is a lot wider and it would have worked a lot better if it was a steel punch. If this one was steel, it would have worked way better for this. But I didn't have that. I had this size steel punch. Worked just fine. Actually, I think I left that out there. It was more that size right there. And I just straight hammer on the base of this. It was upside down in the vise. Hammered into it just to flatten out the base a little bit. Then I put the punch right in the middle of it. Started going at it until I got about, I'd say, 2 centimeters deep, just enough to give me that donut look, a nice little deep donut look. I didn't want to go too much further. I don't want to break the inside here, and I didn't want to go too far because you want this a little rounded off on the edges because that's how the bowling pins are. And then if it was a little bit off to one side, sometimes a couple of them were like little off to an angle. I just hammer that flat, so some of them have a little bit more of a flatter surface right here, but they're all pretty much the same. And it was very easy. It took me just a few minutes to get all 10 of them done. I had my wife do the first shot. She did a gutter ball on the first one, but then she got 9 on her second shot. And I gotta say, I did the exact same overall number as her. We didn't want to do a full game because my daughter's sleeping, but it's a lot of fun. The only thing that sucks about it is the reset. Trying to reset these. Maybe at one point we'll get like some kind of magnetic reset or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out to get them reset easier. I am going to paint these at one point. Just spray paint them white and put that little red stripe on them, maybe with a magic marker or something. These are actually very durable. Granted, I'm using a very weak pistol. I'm using the Beeman right here, P17. And it shoots a 177 at about 410 feet per second. That's what it's rated for. It's actually more like 400 to 390 to 400 feet per second with a lead pellet. And I was shooting the Benjamin hollow points. And I'm using pellets that I'm shooting the pellets that I don't normally use. I wouldn't use for hunting or whatever because they're not the best. The Benjamin hollow points are not very accurate. If I was going to use anything, it would be like the Benjamin or Crossman, you know, say gold tip or destroyers. That's what I use for hunting. So for this, I'm using some of these throwaway pellets. It's a good way to use your little throwaway pellets. It's not it could be a long range game. It could be a short range game. A long range game would take a lot longer unless you have somebody dedicated out there down range to like reset for you. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, we're having a blast. Didn't even put one scratch in this right here, and it had just enough power to actually mimic the bowling game. So if you have a low power air gun and a bunch of lead pellets that you found don't work the best, you haven't really touched them in forever, and a ton of these laying around, I say go for it. Make yourself a airgun bowling set, make a few extras, and have fun. I know I'm having a lot of fun. I'm out here doing my own game every once in a while with these now. I've only had them for the day, but I came out here like 3 times already and played. And it's a lot of fun. I'm doing it from a seated position, just cocking the gun and pop. And of course, if you do decide to make this, a couple things I gotta say. One, if you hurt yourself, I'm not liable. 2, safety, safety, safety. I mean, it's number one. You got to make sure it's spent. You don't want to start punching away at a pressurized CO2 cartridge. All right, because it'll come back at you. 2, you want to wear goggles when you do this and gloves because you're working with a hammer and you're working with steel on steel action, and sometimes things flake up and shoot back up at you. You want to make sure your hands and face and primarily your eyes are protected. And 3, have fun. If you decide to do this, have a lot of fun with it. Go out there and do a few games. I don't know, when my daughter gets old enough to start using the pistols and the rifles, we're gonna do a game out of this. I'm gonna test it out with my Crossman 2240. And I mean, that thing it's a way more power than the Beeman P17, and it's a higher caliber too. It's got more speed and more weight behind each pellet. So it might actually put a dent in these. So I might stick to the lower velocity pistol like the Beeman P17, and I really don't have to use anything with the Beeman P17. I mean, you can get away with using a pump action rifle, because you can keep that velocity pretty low. And the Beeman P17, it's a single action break pistol. The sights on this thing are amazing. They're cheap, but they work great. I mean, and they're pretty well dialed in. And the trigger on this thing is just so crisp. It is just so crisp. I think I've gone long enough talking about this. Yeah. Hope you had fun watching that. I'm gonna probably do some more shooting. Maybe I'll get some more of it on camera before I continue on with the uploading this video. All right.